Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday night stream. It is hot as F. It's supposed to be breaking here in on the East Coast. We are having a crazy heat wave, and also the cats, I feel like, are feeling the heat wave. I don't know if you can see my cat. He is one of them. Losing his mind tonight. So just fell down my chair. You all right, bro? So you almost you almost definitely see him. Hey, Gitch. Go. Thank you. You almost definitely see him tonight. That's Julius. Orange Julius is his full name. Tonight is gonna be kind of all over the place. I mean, I didn't really do a huge... Now they're both on the back of my chair. I didn't really do a huge plan because I had real work today that I had to do. So we're just kind of going in blind. What did Dad say? Yeah, we're gonna... I have the video pulled up. That is one of, like... We have a couple, like, bigger things to talk about. I want to show Runkle's opinion on the fair use lawsuits against Frogan and Denims and Casey Tron. It's from what I didn't want to like watch it because I kind of like being surprised. I'm very anti-spoiler in my life. It's almost like a condition I have where I hate having things spoiled for me. So get ready for a lot of blind reacts on this channel, and also my glass is fogging up all summer long. So okay, so we're gonna watch Runkle of the Bailey, who is a lawyer out of Canada. He had a very in-depth reaction to Ethan's lawsuits. I don't want to watch the whole lawsuit breakdown because that sounds boring. Hi, Perrine. Hi, Abby. Hi, Trey. Cannot stand spoilers. I won't even watch a trailer to something. I won't watch a trailer because they show the whole freaking movie now. Hi, Tulia. They show the whole movie, so I won't even watch a trailer. I hate when it's like previously on, and then they're like this time on, and they like show you the whole episode. Love Island does that, and it pisses me off. Yeah, so I hate all that shit. So yeah, we're gonna blind react to the end of Runkle's video because that's where he kind of gives his final thought. You can watch Runkle's full video. I linked it below if you want to get into like the whole, like the weeds. I am not a weeds person. I am a high level for the most part. But then if I'm really interested, like last night, we get really deep into it. Speaking of, that was bananas, right, guys? That was crazy. I am not entirely sure what happened. I think because I tagged Alexa in my description of the live, she must have been notified. And so she swung by and she was great. I mean, she was in the chat the whole time. And thank you to everyone who was there and gave super chats. I was so overwhelmed. I stayed up till like 3 in the morning. I was just like buzzing because I had so much fun. So that was great. It got weird when Kat came in, like just as I was about to talk about her article. I said it was like I conjured her. So if you haven't watched last night's stream, it was bananas. It was fun. A lot of people there. So yeah, go check it out. You can read the chats right on screen. There was some fighting in chat, but I think overall people were pretty civil, I hope. I didn't get to see a ton of it because I was kind of deep in the article and reviewing it. All right. Okay, so 57% of you. It's only 7 votes so far. I think Casey Tron is going to settle first. Based on what I saw today of her, I would agree with that. And I am not going to celebrate people like being sad and suffering, and like even if they did something wrong, I can't take joy in that. Very rarely can I take joy in that. The only time, there are like only a few people where I'm going to celebrate when bad things happen to them. And if I said one of them, it would get me put on like 5 different lists. So I'm sure you know who that is. So yeah, they have to be like that level of evil. And I don't think that any of these women are, but I do think that they did things wrong and that Ethan is within his right to sue them. So hopefully they settle, because I don't want any of them to be ruined. And I don't really think Ethan does, but again, I'm not in his head, right? And I totally understand how upset he is about the whole CPS thing, the skulls thing, the crew being harassed, like all of this stuff that was happening like outside of the internet. So yeah, I hope that Casey is okay. I don't want anyone feeling that upset. As a mom, I get it. They crossed multiple lines. Yeah, for sure. 100%. And I'm sure that if they had done it to my niece or nephew, I would feel the same way, right? Like just scorched earth. But because I'm not, I mean, I just have like, I just have a lot of empathy in me, I guess. I'm an empath. Only like the most insane people say that, right? But it was hard to watch, like just watching her cry and be upset and like desperate, and she's gone through a lot. And so, I mean, I don't think she has a choice but to settle, and I think that's the right thing to do. Like, I don't think any of them have a case to beat him in court. You know? So, let's just wrap it up, ladies. Let's wrap it up so everyone can just go back to talking about whatever else you talk about besides how Ethan is like public enemy number 1. It just doesn't make any sense. Interestingly enough, speaking of like the whole Ethan saga, for the first time ever, I was in Twitch, which I never ever do. And of course Hassan was streaming because he's always streaming. And I never click on him if I ever see him. I never watch his videos because I just can't. I can't stand him. I think he is arrogant and condescending, especially to his fans. Which, by the way, I watched like 2 minutes of it today. He was just like berating and abusing people in chat. And calling them stupid. You know, like I don't understand why that's entertaining for people. You know? Like if you're there to watch him like humiliate other people, that just seems kind of weird. But anyway, so I was there and I went to see if Casey Tron was still talking about things, just to like check in and see how she was doing. And I opened Hassan's stream, and literally the first sentence I hear, not joking, was something to the effect of, I tried to write it down as fast as I could because you can't rewind on Twitch. He said, he was talking about Zionism and like anti-Zionist Jews and Zionist Jews. And he was like, of course I know Zionist Jews. I live in West Hollywood. There are a lot of Zionist Jews around. Now, if you're familiar with anti-Semitic tropes, one of them is that Jews control the entertainment industry. So to me, saying that was kind of crazy. I kind of couldn't believe that he said that. And it wasn't like, oh, you know, West Hollywood. He was dead serious about West Hollywood essentially being like, you can't swing a cat without hitting a Zionist. Jew, specifically. So I thought that was very weird. Hi, Jared. Abby says, just to do that to anyone's family or their kids, that's wild behavior. I'm here from H3, so I will definitely stand with H3 in his decision. Totally. I will encourage everyone, myself included, and you, Abby, and everybody, to feel how you feel about things, right? But to never just say, I am going to support this person no matter what, you know? And I know that's not what you mean, because I feel the same way. Like, I think Ethan is genuinely a good person who is trying his best. I think he says a lot of shit he shouldn't. I'm really glad they got the button. You know, just because less people are getting hurt, less people are getting upset. The show's losing less money, right? But there will be times where I won't stand with Ethan. There have been times in the past. I took a huge break when all the SJW stuff started. Like, I was a fan from way back to Israel, as everyone always says, right? But yeah, around that time I was like, I don't fuck with this. And I had been like a huge fan. And then I came back, right? When he kind of cleaned up his act in that sense. So let's stand with Ethan if it makes sense. And let's question him if it doesn't, because we're not snarkers. We're not MAGA. We're not these people that are just like lockstep following our cult leader off a cliff. So yeah, so there's that. That was the first thing. This came up. Why is this like delayed? That's really weird. Why is it always something? Because this was what that's my tweet right there. Yup. But then when I go here and click to the next tab, it doesn't open it. So one sec, y'all, while you can see the sausage being made here. I'm gonna figure this out. No, that's literally what I want. That's the one. Oh, restart capture? Is that gonna do it? Hey! Okay, cool. But am I gonna have to do that every freaking time? That feels weird. Okay, so friend of the show, Alexa Nichols, it's Alexa Nicholas, who was in the chat last night. Apparently she posted this today on her Instagram talking about denims. And so I'll make it bigger so we can all see it. Okay, so Alexa said, and maybe she had just seen this stuff about denims. People were talking about it in the chat last night. For context, it's the stuff that Denim said post CPS call about, the CPS call isn't really a big deal anyway, because kids don't form memories before 5 years old, before 3 to 5 years old. And if they do, it's only a handful. And if they do, and there is a handful, they forget all of them by the time they're 15. I genuinely don't know where she got any of that information. And this is another example that I've used for denims in the past of like, it's okay to not know things. It's okay to not know things and not talk about them. Like, I would not assume to know anything about child development because I have not studied that. I also haven't studied like specifically childhood trauma. But I do know that stuff like, I think is it cortisone levels and other things, like the body keeps the score, right? Just because you don't remember it doesn't mean that it isn't going to impact you later, which is why victims of child abuse have a lot of shit to work through a lot of times. All right, so our first tweet was, Denim's talking about when a kid begins a memory is fucking disgusting. So what? Denim's the kids who lost their parents in bombs below 3 in Palestine won't remember it. That is what I have said too. It's a dumb argument, and Hassan should agree with me on this. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. And as far as I know, Hassan has not said anything like that. But this is the kind of shit that they just let each other say because the ends justify the means. Like, they just can lie about whatever they want as long as it's making Ethan look bad. And I don't understand why more people aren't bothered by that. How can you not be bothered by just like the blatant lies? Like, you're sitting in Denim's audience and you're like, yes, girl. Kids below 5 have like no memories. Yes. You know that's not true. We've all been children. We all have children in our lives. Like, it's just fucking crazy. So she said that, and then she said, what a phony, in my opinion. So yeah, they were in chat. Alexa was in chat last night. Kat, her rival in this situation, was also in chat. And that was fun. That was crazy. Yeah, and then some people, shout out to the family, there were some H3 folks here, and then they went over to the subreddit and they were sharing the live, so shout out. Okay. Do we want to talk about Liver King? Do we want to talk about an H3 conspiracy theory from our community? Let's do those options. Liver King or conspiracy theory? Those are your options right now. Lock in your votes. Both are good, I think. Oh my goodness gracious. And then, like, living in the country, man, the number of bugs, it's bananas. Liver King. Liver King. Yeah, the Liver King shit is crazy. All right, and we can read this story for free, so that's great. Liver King. All right, that's 2 for Liver King. There aren't a ton of people here tonight, so let's... Oh my god, this guy is so crazy. Is this video still up? Hang on, y'all. Let me see if this is still up. Oh, it is. 2 days ago. Okay, so let's get into Liver King. And I'm also going to try to make sure stuff is up on the screen when we're talking about it. I genuinely don't know why it's not doing that every time, but that's fine. Subprimal. Okay, so friend / enemy of the show, Liver King, has gotten himself in some hot water that raw meat can't fix. This says Austin's KXAN news station is reporting that Brian Johnson, literally the most boring ass name, the Liver King, has been arrested for making threats against fellow thick boy Joe Rogan. Shout out Bethy Squires for the pithy language here. Johnson has been charged with making a terroristic threat, which is a Class B misdemeanor. I feel like terroristic threats should be more than a misdemeanor. Johnson is facing jail time because of the threats he made against Joe Rogan on his Instagram. I think we might have one of them here. So let's see what we can see here. His fucking belly button is weird as shit.
My name's Liver King. Man to man. I'm picking a fight with you.
He's talking about Joe Rogan. He's picking a fight with him. Also, if the audio is doubling, please let me know, because I hate that SHIT. Okay.
Yeah. I have 0 training in jiu-jitsu.
What's happening? Do you guys notice he's like shaking? Is he standing on one of those vibration things? Let me start over. Just watch his legs. He must be.
My name's Liver King. Man to man. I'm picking a fight with you.
Yeah, he's like shaking.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
0 training in jiu-jitsu. You're a black belt.
So he's picking a fight with Joe Rogan. He has 0 training in jiu-jitsu, and Joe Rogan is apparently a black belt.
You should dismantle me. But I'm picking a fight with you.
Okay. I saw that people are like, that's crazy that he's being charged with a terroristic threat just for picking a fight, but he is holding what looks to be 2 guns. I don't know if they're real, but they look to be some kind of weird ass rifles, right? Like, I feel like that tips into a terroristic threat.
Your rules. Whatever you want me to weigh, I'll weigh it. I weighed 190 this morning.
190?
I'll come to you whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready to go. I'm on a vibration plate, by the way.
Oh, he said I'm on a vibration something, by the way. This man has lost his marbles. He seems to be like in full steroid psychosis.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, those are like, what are those? I'm not a gun person. I don't know if they're real or fake or what's going on, but this is strange. I I also don't know if this is like copyrighted music. We'll find out. Okay, so that apparently is one of the threats. Brother has liver damage in the brain. If you watch his documentary, it's crystal clear this is just marketing. The Liver King is a character. He and his family and a few others put together these stunts, and they created the Liver King character, and they funnel a lot of PR from Liver King into revenue for ancestral supplements. Then he's like a really good actor, because this shit is freaking nutty. Nutty buddy. For sure. All right, let's see what else the article has to say. And it's not too... Listen. Mr. Google and I are going to have a freaking chat later. Okay, we'll go back to this. He says, Joe Rogan, I'm calling you out. My name is Liver King. Man to man, I'm picking a fight with you. I have no training. All right, so we just watched that one. Johnson even made one video about how many people were commenting that they were praying for him. I hope that you pray for you and you're not so focused about what's outside of yourself. You should pray for you. I mean, you seem to be like actively having like a mental health incident at the moment. Austin police said they took the threats to Rogan, who stated he had never had an interaction with Johnson and considered the post to be threatening. Johnson was arrested at the Four Seasons Hotel in Austin, which he also filmed and put on Instagram. I love that. Okay. Okay.
They, listen, just take this with a grain of salt, but they assured me he's going to be in and out.
Yeah.
It's like, we got to process you, he'll bail out, but we're talking probably 24 hours.
24 hours?
Maybe first thing tomorrow when he sees the judge. I don't know.
Oh, so it's not an hour.
So he has to stay overnight. I feel as though he should be on like a 72-hour hold.
To be the 24 hours.
I don't know. They could do a 24-hour.
Take you this way to the lobby.
Thank you.
Who is the guy filming?
And then do you know where their vehicle is? So
Yes, it's just gonna, when you go out to the driveway.
thank you for your discretion.
Thank you for your discretion, he said, as he put the entire thing on Instagram. Is that his lawyer?
They said in and out, but to a cop, in and out could mean 24 hours.
So that means 24 hours.
I don't know, Miss Barbara. I'm saying that they could.
Miss Barbara. Happy Pride, by the way. So I guess this guy works for them?
Close them for 24 hours. However, they said in and out, which means they could go there and then he comes back out.
Yeah, it is interesting that Liver King stays at the Four Seasons, right? I mean, we all know he's a fraud.
I'm under the assumption he would need to see a judge before he is dismissed. Rogan's guys are gone.
Thank you.
This is terrible content. What do we got? Skip? How do I skip ahead? Jesus, this guy is like running up on people. So where is he? Oh my god, are we going over to see where he is? Oh shit, here he is. So I'm assuming Liver King told him to record all of this. This is fucking crazy. What the fuck is he wearing on his like a harness of some kind? What is it, like a fishing vest? He looks like a little old gnome. Very strong little gnome. I wonder what she gave him. What she gave the wife. This is for you. Okay, so they were at the hotel. Okay, I'm seeing now. I thought they were, for some reason, I blanked on where they were, and I thought they were like at the police station. They were obviously walking through a hotel, so he was arrested at the hotel. Was that filmed like in the hotel? Why was he arrested there? is crazy.
You guys put handcuffs on people in the back of the car? Inside the car? That's that. Because it's really protected.
Did this guy just ask if they ever put someone in the trunk of a police car? Who are these ding-dongs? Who is this dork? Yeah, this definitely makes it seem like it's all like a big joke and a setup to them, I guess. Okay, cool. So that's Liver King. I was wondering if there was some sort of history between him and Joe, but according to Joe Rogan, they have never even met. So what are we doing? We're just creating enemies now? Bananas. Yeah, let me look at this. I'm wondering if this doesn't look like a hotel, but I have no idea what like a super bougie hotel looks like. Is this a super bougie hotel or is this his house? That's got to be his house, right? Like, it looks kind of depressing in there. And I don't think he would bring, maybe he would bring his wolf pelt to the Four Seasons or whatever the fuck it was. Who knows? He's crazy. He's crazy, and we knew that, and now he is in jail. It's interesting. I feel like this year a lot of people are ending up facing criminal charges for the stuff that they do, or lawsuits as well, right? Like we had Vitali in the Philippines. We had the guy, is it Johnny Somali in Japan? We have 3 streamers being sued, and now we have Liver King in jail. I wonder who's next. Crazy. All right, next up, let's talk about this conspiracy theory that one H3 fan has put forth about the lawsuits. I don't like spoilers, so I try not to read it all, but let's read it. There we go. Okay. Oh, so it's that's not working. Okay, cool. So I connected the dots to the Noah Samsen lawsuit. Ethan is 5 steps ahead. Okay, so as we know, like a month or 2 ago, Ethan gave Noah Samsen a certain amount of days to recant his statements about Ethan supporting, loving genocide, right? It was definitely defamatory. And then nothing happened, right? The number of days passed, and there was no news of Noah Samsen immediately being sued, which we now know, if we didn't know already, doesn't mean anything, right? Remember how Denims was like so sure of herself? Like, oh, Ethan's not suing me. He talked a big game. Where is it now? She said that in April and May, and then June she gets hit with it. Oh my God, I read this earlier. It'd be crazy if true. I won't spoil though. Thanks, Trey. So yeah, so I guess this is a response to the fact that nothing has happened publicly yet with the Noah Samsen defamation suit. So let's read this. Please let God let this happen, because it would be so fucking funny. 3 hours ago. So it was like 7 p.m. my time. I'm kicking my feet and giggling over here because I realized it's official how screwed everyone involved in this could be. Ethan just needed to get at least one of them to Discovery, and the floodgates open. Denims is probably the jackpot between the 3, to be honest. I think that that's true, and I do think that a lot of crazy stuff will come out of Discovery. Do they do Discovery if there's a settlement? Like, do they do Discovery before the settlement? I guess they could probably settle beforehand, would be my guess. But yeah, if whatever comes out in Discovery is then public knowledge, or knowledge at least between the Ethan and his legal team, and then they can do with that what they want. And I do think that Denims is probably the the loose lips there. Like, I feel like she says a lot of stuff she shouldn't, and probably puts it in writing. Discovery with this malice involved will have to open Denham's messages, discords, etc. And not just info discussing the plan to stream as a market substitute, but since it's been in malice, Ethan's lawyer could get them to open up lots of conversations with anyone remotely involved, because the court will need context, our favorite word. So yeah, it could potentially open the door to messages between the three streamers and other streamers. Maybe, like, I'm guessing like Noah Samson and others. If they can find messages through that process that prove the conspiracy between all of these creators to knowingly defame Ethan and profit from it, that is enough to open an actual case of defamation against any of them. Hang on one second. Denham's messages. I'm assuming text messages too, right? I assume it would also be text messages. It would be all kinds of stuff. All her DMs and everything. Which I think they're waiting on Discovery to see if they can get any correspondence from Noah that will incriminate him. I hope I am so right about this. I don't know if they even need more incriminating correspondence. Like, the dude said shit and doubled down on it publicly on his own channel. But yeah, it would be great to get more. Bonus, if they take Noah to court and a court finds using Bad Empanada's videos are damaging and Noah gets found guilty, the rest that used Bad Empanada will be easy, and that can wrap back around to Denham's with the CPS call. Okay, so then, yeah, once you open the door to Bad Empanada, the door is open and anyone can use it. Oh my God, the possibilities, y'all. This is gonna go on for a decade. Holy shit. Also, I didn't know retweeting is seen in the court of law as repeating defamation. I didn't know that either. Which is interesting that Ethan keeps bringing up Jake Chinatown lately in relation to all of this. I will say, like, that is a good point. I don't want us to get super, like, QAnon-y about stuff, but Ethan definitely talks about things he's working on, things he's focused on before we know about them, right? Like, I posted a little clip from one of my streams today where Ethan was, when he was debating Hassan got up for a second and he was like, oh, Cherry Act. And we know that before, during, and after the content nuke, which is what they were watching, Ethan was working on the lawsuit that we didn't know about Cherry Acts, right? And so I do think he places hints because the things are just front of mind and he talks about what's front of mind. So maybe you're right. Maybe there is a Jake Chinatown thing in the works. They've retweeted some crazy stuff about Ethan. Is that the person who retweeted the taking his kids by the legs thing? And then all of Hassan's retweets he thought he could get away with by not saying the stuff himself. Please, God, let this happen. It'd be so funny. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what kind of defamatory stuff Hassan has retweeted because I don't really pay attention to him. And yeah, like I said at the top of this, I'm not going to celebrate Denham's or Casey Tron or Frogan necessarily getting sued and having to go through all of this because they are smaller creators. That doesn't mean that this shouldn't happen, but I'm not going to be like, yeah, get fucked, right? Although it's the hardest with Denham's just because she's been so arrogant about it, you know? She just really gives me the vibe of like, I just want to fit in somewhere and I'll do whatever it takes. But it would be a lot easier to enjoy a lawsuit of some kind against Hassan because he has so much money. You know? It would be like Ryan Kavanaugh versus Ethan. I wonder if liking tweets would be considered that too. Probably not. I feel like it would have, that doesn't really show any action of you like really perpetuating it unless they can like show that you knowingly did it in like a sneaky way. Like if he admitted, if he like said that somewhere, but I don't know. Not really sure. So yeah, that is the conspiracy. I mean, it it doesn't seem like that much of a reach to me. I think that, I mean, we know Ethan loves Discovery. He always talks about Discovery and the fact that it like opens so many doors. I think Ethan probably would have been a really good attorney if the YouTube stuff hadn't worked out. Because he kind of loves this shit. And I think he is very good at it. And I think he's very passionate about it. To be frank, Casey Tron has been on the platform a lot longer and been more successful. I don't feel bad for her. Okay, yeah. Well, she was really upset today talking about, like, her parents being sick and stuff. I don't know. I just find it hard to, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to get there for any of them. He loves to argue so I could see it. Yeah, he definitely does. Okay, the next story is just a little schadenfreude on the back of the awesome win in New York City last night for Zoran Mamdani. 1 M, not 2 in the middle of his name, I've learned. This little gem about a family, a MAGA family that moved to Russia. Now, I've talked in previous YouTube lives about a family that did the same thing. So nothing, okay, cool. Sorry, y'all. All right, there we go. I've talked about another family. This is a separate one. I thought this was the one that I had talked about, but this is, that was a Canadian family that moved to Russia, and they didn't know the language, and they didn't realize how, like, hard it would be, right? Well, we have another family that fled the U.S. because they were scared of gay people, essentially, and gay people indoctrinating their children in American schools, unhealthy food, and a desire for a safer environment that is aligned with our Christian values. And this is Usurp the Chef. I don't know why his name isn't showing, their name isn't showing up at the top, but that's who did this tweet. I don't understand the pull to Russia. Is Russian Orthodox Christianity, like, that aligns with your values? That doesn't make any sense. Just because they believe in Jesus doesn't mean that your religion has anything in common with theirs. Like, you could go to Italy and also have Christian values there through the Catholics. Go to Greece and the Greek Orthodoxes. Like, why Russia? I mean, we know why Russia, right? Because Trump has a huge hard-on for Russia. Did they watch the Tucker Carlson video? The grocery store video, that must have done it. Yeah, probably. There was a time when Tucker was putting out a lot of propaganda, wasn't he? All right, so yeah, I think there have been a few families that have done it, and this one was great. Let me just restart this because I am going to need the video. Stupid freaking thing. I don't know what's going on. Okay, after receiving... Okay, no, let me start at the top. Deanna and Derek Huffman and their 2 kids moved from Texas to Russia in 2022. All right, so they've been there for 3 years. That must have been around the time that Tucker Carlson did his thing. Let's find out. Tucker Carlson, Russia grocery store. Shopping in a Russian grocery store. This was a year ago. Looks like they were already there. This was just it looks like it only happened a year ago, according to everything here. But, I mean, there's been pro-Russia propaganda coming out for years now. I mean, ever since Trump was in office the first time. Okay, so they were motivated by concerns over LGBT indoctrination in schools, blah, blah, blah. I read that. Derek decided to, this is truly amazing. These are the kind of people that I am okay with suffering. You know what I mean? Derek decided to join the Russian army in hopes of getting citizenship and was told he would not be sent to the front. This fucking idiot. Instead, he would utilize his skills as a welder somewhere in the rear. Shockingly, it turns out the Russians didn't keep their word. After receiving less than a month of training in Russian, not military training, in the language of Russian, which he doesn't speak or understand, he will be headed towards the front line to fight. They also haven't been paid the money they were promised when Derek enlisted. The one bit of good news, at least the Russian army didn't ask him what his pronouns were. This is the result of MAGA bleeding out due to being hit by a fiber optic FPV drone in a Russian trench to own the libs. Like, what are we doing? Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want it to be that big. Okay, so let's hear. I believe this is his wife, Deanna Huffman. So let's see what she has to say.
Okie dokie. So,
Why are you so quiet, lady? Oh, there we go. Okay.
unfortunately, I getting a little tired, so I'm gonna walk back. But as I'm walking back, I wanted to share a little bit about what's going on with Derek. When he signed up, and
First of all, 10 out of 10, 100% chance that this whole stupid plan to move to Russia was Derek's idea. I can't tell you how many YouTubers I see doing like homesteading and shit. They're all these like super Christian YouTubers, and it's very clear that the wives are just like suffering because they are just like stranded out on a farm, taking care of like 7, 8 children at a time, and it's all to support their husband's delusions of grandeur. So ladies, straight ladies and women who love straight men, you don't have to do every fucking idea that they come up with. Okay? Because sometimes you'll end up in Russia, left behind with your children while your husband goes to the front lines.
had all of that done. He was told he would not be training for 2 weeks and going straight to the front lines, but it seems as though he's getting 1 more week of training and closer to the front lines, and then they are going to put him on the front lines. So
This lady has to be so pissed. Has to be so pissed inside. But I don't even know if these women can access that. If they can allow themselves to blame their husband. Or if they have just internalized the blame for themselves and have been like, nope, this is what we wanted. We want to sacrifice for our values. We'll find out.
we are all praying really hard
Oh, it's doubling. I fucking hate it here. Okay. All right. Let's try this.
that he could actually be utilized for his skills and not just be put as a fighter. Unfortunately, there was a few things not quite done that probably should have been done, and now we are just believing in God that
Now we're just believing in God. It's gotten to the point where things are so bad and we have no idea what's going to happen next. So hopefully our faith gets us through. Wait, speak of the devil. Look at who the first comment is on that video. Oh my God! Dude, am I a witch? I feel like between last night and today, I have like conjured several people. Am I a YouTube witch? Okay, let's keep going.
everything is going to work out to the way it's supposed to. He signed up in Nizhny to get less money because he was told they would have more control. At first, they were trying to petition that he would be able to be more like news.
Is the video frozen for you guys? Because it's looking like it's frozen. This thing is sucking ass tonight. I don't know what the problem is with the video. But you get the point. Basically, they were totally hosed by the Russian government for being dumb Americans that fell for all the Russian propaganda on Facebook, essentially. And now she is going to have to raise her children on her own in Russia, not knowing the language. There's no way this woman speaks more than one language. And her husband might die. Like, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? Holy crap. All right, so that is Hoffman. If I can't get this video shit to work, or Huffman, then I feel like I need to go, because maybe I can like restart things. This might kill the stream. I don't know. But I need to like restart OBS. Okay, stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Did I just fucking fuck everything up? Probably. All right, let's do this. Oh my God, did I do it? Okay, hopefully y'all can see me. Please confirm in the chat that you can see me. Let's see if the web shit's working again. Because that, okay, Let's see here.
Taught in a different language and you don't understand the language, how are you really getting taught your... Not. So, unfortunately, he feels like he's being thrown to the wolves right now, and he's kind of having to lean on faith, and that's what we're all doing. So we're gathering together and asking everybody to just pray that something can be done. We are petitioning some public figures to hopefully help in...
Girl, it's not America. Okay, everything is clearer now too? Okay, something was going on. There was something funky going on. Okay, so yeah, that's Huffman. So let's now get into like the real meat and potatoes stuff. We are going to talk about Dad and Creator Clash 3. So I thought it was interesting. I just wanted to show this before we get into the actual video. Dad, let me turn myself up here. Apparently 2 months ago, LOLCow did Creator Clash 3 exposed? Is it gonna be a flop? And then today, or yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, another expose with Dad. Like, same shit, same thumbnail, just a different tie. Just a different tie for Dad, which I love. All right, so I skipped ahead to when they start talking about the Creator Clash stuff. Obviously, y'all know LOLCow Live. You can go watch the full thing, but let's see what Dad has to say about Creator Clash.
Right? But now we're in Creator Clash 3, and now the whole thing has blown up. Can you explain to this audience what it's like to be a boxer in Creator Clash 3? You've lived through these 2 other controversies that the owners did, the creators did, and now they decide to make a content cop on H3, Ethan Klein, and the side narrative of this is...
First of all, Keem is, the way Keem is saying that, like, on H3, on Ethan Klein, like, it wouldn't have been a disaster if they had done the content cop on most other people. But you know Ethan's gonna go nuclear. You know he's funnier than you. You know he is more detail-oriented than you when it comes to flaming people. And it was like a majority H3 audience at these things. Like, what are you doing, Brie? Okay, let me spread this out so you can actually see it a little bit better. All right, oh my God, I swear, if this is fucking frozen. It is. It is. We love that. Okay, so is the problem when whatever, I'm not gonna, we're good. Okay.
War in the Middle East, the most controversial topic in the entire world. The war in the Middle East is the side narrative to this content cop. These are the owners and the creators of Creator Clash that decide to get into this conflict.
A little bit controversial there. A little controversial choice.
What were your thoughts when this happened?
I have a few thoughts. It's obviously not the type of content I would make as a person, but I'm never going to judge someone or say you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. Like, that's what Ian does. He does these content cop things. So he told me about that. We went camping. A bunch of us boxers went camping. We were doing training. My coach went. He was training us all as we were camping. And then Ian and I were walking around picking up firewood. And he told me, he's like, oh, I'm filming a content cop.
I wonder how far in advance this was that they were camping and he was talking about this content cop. That, maybe he'll tell the date, because that would be interesting to know, because then that can tell us, like, at what point he and Anissa, like, really just shut everything off. And if it was earlier than we think it was.
I'm doing it on Ethan. And I was like, fine. And then I was like, and I thought, oh, my head went immediately to, okay, this is a work. This is like WWE. They're going to have a feud. It's going to get a ton of attention.
Which would have been a good idea. It absolutely would have been a good idea to do this big fake beef between Ian and Ethan ahead of Creator Clash 3. But no, he's not creative like that. He's a fucking idiot, as we've learned.
They'll make up right before Critter Clash. There'll be so much engagement leading up to the fight. Boom.
No.
Everything's all good. And then when I realized that when he was talking to me, I was like, this might not be what's happening. Okay.
No,
I started
you
kinda
thought
getting, like,
that
panicky.
real quick. You thought that originally because you were assuming that this guy knows how to promote his event. He doesn't.
Yeah. Well,
he doesn't.
I know. And then
Exactly. Yeah. So because even, I mean, we know that Dad/Nathan, he's a super creative guy. He comes up with all kinds of innovative stuff. Insane characters, insane storylines, right? That feel real and surreal at the same time. So, of course, his creative mind was like, oh, I see what we're doing here, right? Okay. Why is this, like, so far up? Guys, we're having a time tonight. Let me just see what we can do about this. Oh, I think I know what the problem is. One sec. Oops. What the hell? Oh, God. Okay, that's better. All right, cool. And then we'll put it in this mode. We're learning and growing here, y'all.
and I was
At
thinking,
all.
okay,
We've had to promote it.
Maybe he doesn't
I've
wanna
had
let
to
me know
promote
in on
Creator
it.
Clash. Ethan Klein had to promote Creator Clash.
Everyone has promoted this more than Ian and Anissa ever did. It's so wild that we keep finding out that Ian and Anissa had a problem with Ethan before Ethan even knew. I know. And if you go back and watch the interviews, I'm like, they kind of look like they hate him now, but they also just both kind of look like psychopaths sometimes. So maybe that's it more than anything. But yeah, it is crazy how this is all shaken out.
The other creators that have no involvement with Creator Clash have had to promote this event every fucking year. But go ahead.
so when he said that, I wasn't going to say you shouldn't do that, because I'm never going to tell anyone what you should and shouldn't make. It's your life to do. You know, I'm thinking maybe he has this figured out. Maybe he knows it won't affect it. Maybe he'll this. I was concerned.
It sounds like that Dad was giving Ian a lot more credit than he was due, right? Like, oh, maybe he knows stuff that I don't. Maybe we're operating on a different level. But no, it turns out he just either wanted to shoot himself in the foot or he didn't know that it would because he has no impulse control. I genuinely do not know which one it is.
With Creator Clash have had to promote this event every fucking year. But go ahead.
So when he said that, I wasn't going to say you shouldn't do that because I'm never going to tell anyone what you should and shouldn't make. It's your life to do. You know, I'm thinking maybe he has this figured out. Maybe he knows it won't affect it. Maybe this. I was concerned about it for sure. And then I talked to another Ren from Corridor. He and I trained together, and we talked about it. We're like, okay, because he's talking about it on the camping trip. We're like, we hope that.
Was AB on this camping trip? Has AB talked about a Creator Clash 3 boxing camping trip? Do y'all know if he was on that trip? Anybody? I mean, I don't think that Ian would have told AB about it, but I feel like at some point AB knew something was coming, but I don't remember. Isis? Trisha said that iDubbbz was not his friend and she hated him, and also pushed that iDubbbz never liked him. The thing about Trisha is, though, she said that about like everybody. She when she was being cruel, that was one of the things she went to. She's like, everybody hates you. Everyone talks shit about you, right? So I think because she puts out so much misinformation, it's hard to know when she's telling the truth. But maybe she was about this. I do think that Trisha has she's good at reading people. I think she has a good sense of people. You know, I think that's one of her strengths. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. I would not be surprised at all.
It's, you know, gonna be okay and he'll figure it out. And then I asked him on that trip, I was like, what's up with because I tried physically counting every single taken seat on Ticketmaster because I was curious myself. I was like, I really want to know if people are going to be there. Like, I don't know what's the count. So I did a map. I was drawing on it. I was doing section.
Let me tell you right now, this is more work and more concern about the number of tickets sold than we saw from Ian or Anissa. At least publicly. They did not seem concerned with it at all. They barely talked about Creator Clash. My goodness.
Off sections, I finished counting. I was counting everything. And then Ian was like, oh, don't pay attention to that because this Ticketmaster is a little tricky with what they show has sold and hasn't sold. It's hard.
Okay, do you have audio now? That was me. Audio. We're having to like manually do things right now. This is a fucking hot mess. Okay, I'm so glad that things went so smoothly last night when there were like 1,000 people here. Shout out to y'all for sticking with me as I have one of those nights apparently. I wonder if Mercury's in retrograde or some shit. Okay.
Hard to know. It's their like method of selling tickets. And I was like, okay, so I just counted 5,000 tickets for no reason. But when he said that, he said, we're not super pumped right now on what the ticket sales are. And then Ren and I both were like, okay, hopefully. Then Ian said, we do have things planned. We're going to do promotional stuff. We have stuff planned. We're not too worried because like towards the end is when people really go for tickets. But at that point, it hadn't been selling the same as the year one had.
Again, Dad was not like an owner of the event. He wasn't a producer of the event, as far as I know. I don't know if he invested in this event. Maybe he did. But the fact that he is like comparing year over year data of ticket sales, you know, up to this moment before the event, he was concerned. Other people were concerned. Like the boxers clearly in the vacuum of no information were scrambling and having to make sense of things on their own. This is, I mean, it's crazy that it feels like Dad, Nathan, put in more thought and concern about this event just as a boxer than Ian and Anissa did, who were just like, yeah, we're going to have some promo. When? Where? I mean, you never did. You never did it.
Year one was just like super, everyone got excited and it skyrocketed. So year two, it's hard to repeat that for any event. Understandable. But so when he said the content cop and then he said the tickets, I was like, this isn't good. Like, why is he going to do this? But I'm never going to say, don't make what you want to make. It's not my job. It's just I'm just here to box and hopefully I get the opportunity to do it. But I was nervous I wasn't going to get the chance to do it because my whole thing for me is like, I'm 44. I have to box. The big reason I'm on this podcast right now is because I really want to fight on Misfits. I want to do Creator Clash 3. I'm talking to Mams yesterday. I'm trying so hard to get on the next event because I only.
To me, I mean, maybe because I'm just like maybe I'm a more confrontational person than Dad, but I feel like I would have said something, but I couldn't help myself, right? I'm just that kind of person. But those are all really valid reasons for Dad to be concerned. Like, you're 44, you potentially have limited boxing years or months left, right? Like, you don't know if like an injury will happen, potentially. You have plans and goals for yourself, and Creator Clash is one of those milestones. And if you are afraid that you're wasting your time and wasting your weeks and months on something that's going to go nowhere, I think it's valid to speak up. I understand being like, make what you want to make, but this has directly impacted Dad and his own professional plans, you know? Also, get Dad in the fucking WWE. He would be so perfect.
Only have like this tiny window left to do this. I'm having these neck problems with a pinched nerve. I see spots now, like flashes a lot from sparring this year. And I'm like, oh my God, the window's closing. And my girlfriend, like, I really want to get a house and I need these checks to like get that house. I want to get out of this safe and go move in a house with my girlfriend after I propose and to have a happy life. But
He's gonna propose. I'm so happy for him. That makes me so happy. Because his fiance, was it, that passed away some years ago? That makes me really happy. I was like really sad for Dad. So I'm so glad for Dad that he's not sad. But yet literally yes, that is what I'm happy about.
I have to do it now.
But
so
Dad, listen to me. Listen to me. I get it, right? But Anissa and iDubbbz, all right, act like they care so much about these boxers. They're taking them on camping trips. They're buying hotels. They're doing this and they act like they care so much. They care about their safety, right? But they don't care enough for you to have a successful boxing match.
Right. They act like they give a shit, but they are not thinking about the consequences this has had for the boxers. They want to do all the fun stuff, because who doesn't, right? It's almost like this was like, and I'm not saying this is why they do it, right? But it seems like it was like designed and manufactured to give Ian and Anissa access to friendships. And they just kind of saw it as like a summer camp or something. But I mean, these are professionals. These are people that are doing this for their careers, like that see this as an opportunity or for charity, right? And then we learned that none of the money goes to charity from the actual proceeds. But Keem is totally right here, and I cannot believe in the year of our Lord 2025 that I am agreeing with Keemstar and thinking he is completely based on this. He's having a very mature take on the fact that Ian and Anissa really screwed people over, especially older boxers who don't have a ton of boxing time left. Okay, let's hopefully this will work again. Or I'm gonna freak out.
They blew up their event. This is what I'm saying, right? There's talking and then there's walking. This is so infuriating to anybody with logic, right?
It is frustrating because we were looking forward to Creator Clash 3. We were considering buying tickets to support you ringside, man.
Yeah. But also, you guys definitely could have gone. I remember seeing something about you guys wondering if you
I
could
was
go.
worried that
You
we were
could
banned.
definitely have
They
gone.
blocked me. They
No.
blocked me on Twitter because I
Blocked me too.
criticized them banning Froggy Fresh, right?
They should not have been banning anybody. They should not have been even hinting at the fact that they were banning people from buying tickets. They should have been essentially giving tickets away. And listen, I know Keemstar is very problematic, has been for a long time. He is into the boxing life, right? He is into the creator boxing world. It is a good idea to give him tickets, you know? And it sounds like he was willing to buy them too.
Right?
I know
me.
no one would have. I know no one would have stopped you if you would have gone, but then no one's gonna publicly say.
They
that,
blocked
you know?
me on Twitter because I said I missed the carefree fun iDubbbz that just ate trash, ate
Yeah.
fucking chicken nugget.
But
Like, what?
Well, Boogie, that came along with the N-word, F-word stuff and a lot of like the edgelord things. And I think that at this point, I don't like giving any sympathy to Anissa and Ian after everything. But like, I think something about that life really traumatized Ian. Because he seems so adamant to distance himself from it. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it was so traumatizing. Maybe like the fallout from the TanaCon stuff or whatever. And then like the Anissa attacks. They just like really messed with him, right? So I don't think being like, I miss the old iDubbbz, like that's such a stupid take with peace and love, Boogie. We said it came with the word and word. Oh, and yeah, the N word, F word. Exactly. Okay. Oh my God, I cannot believe this is making me reset it every time I pause. It's dumb.
I enjoyed that guy. I enjoyed him. What was
I offered. Wait. I gotta get this out. I gotta get this out.
Okay.
I offered my services. All right. And I have a long track record of doing live events, doing gaming events, and they've all been wildly successful, right? I offered my services to Creator Clash for free.
And why do we think he offered them for free, class? Why would Keemstar offer his services to Creator Clash for free? I am guessing because he thought it was for charity. He thought it was for charity. That's going to be my guess. My guess is he offered his services for free because he thought it was a charity event. And it was something that he had experience with. Yes. The Stand Up to Cancer fundraiser. Oh, okay. He's a fan. Yes. Yeah. I mean, that seems... why else would Keemstar offer himself for free? Okay.
For free. I think it was around the beginning of Creator Clash 2. No, we're good. Okay.
Well, but you
Okay.
gotta understand, you and Ian have a long history of like beefing on each other and hating on each other. It's weird. You guys have a history that makes your relationship rocky. It can't just like flip the switch. I think
That's true, right? Like even a year or two ago, because Creator Clash 2 was 2022, right? Even 2 years ago, I mean, Ethan still totally hated Keemstar. It's really only been like 2023 and onward, like late 2023, honestly, around the time of October 7th. I mean, he was one of the few people that was like, this is fucked up. Like, I hate Ethan, but what you guys are doing is fucked up. Like, that was crazy. It's crazy that Keemstar became a semi-voice of reason. And then the success of LOLCow, it just can't be denied. All right, no more Keemstar glazing for a little while.
I think you could flip a switch and be like, yeah, that's over. We're done.
He
Whatever.
tried. He tried.
But
I don't
I
hold
would be
grudges.
hesitant if this person made fun of me my whole career to be like, well, should I trust this guy? You can't blame them. I think they just wanted to do it on their own.
No,
I do think it'd be nice for everyone on the internet to bury their beefs that they all have and everyone just gets along. But to answer your question,
I
yes,
can only
okay.
come to the conclusion. Let me finish this real quick. I could
Sure.
only come to the conclusion. This was not about charity. This was not.
Well, we know that. We know that, don't we? We know that specifically Creator Clash 3 was not about charity. Because if you wanted to go donate to charity, you had to give money on top of the price of your ticket. You had to choose to donate to charity. You could just go and do that yourself. That's not giving alongside like the benefit you get. That's not a charity event, right? So yeah, definitely not about charity. Let's see what Keem thinks it's really about. He's cynical, but I have a feeling he might be right. We'll see.
Not about doing a great event, that there had to be some alternative motive. Because when it comes to having a successful event, controversy, like banning Sam Hyde, kicking out Froggy Fresh, or making a content cop on Ethan Klein, it is so easy to understand this would be bad for the business. There has to be some other motive other than charity and other, let's have a fun time with no drama boxing. There has to be a different motive at play.
What do we think the motive is? To me, I think assuming that there's a motive is giving Ian and Anissa a lot of credit. I don't think that they are capable of calculating. I think that they made a lot of stupid decisions and they just kept trying to cover them up. What the fuck has happened to Boogie's wall? I'm so out of the LOLCow loop. I should ask Hila. But yeah, so for me, I don't think that this was like all planned. I just think that they are very impulsive people who should not be in charge of any event, let alone an event that has a charity aspect to it. I mean, what a disaster. What an absolute disaster. Like the lack of professionalism to be able to keep your private shit private and separate. And then, I mean, you have all these people counting on you. It's trash.
There has to be.
I feel, as just myself and as I've gone through life, I can always see everyone's side for everything. And I do feel like I'm pretty diplomatic. And I can understand their reasoning for, like, obviously, Sam Hyde is a super controversial guy. If he goes, who knows what he might do? He might hold up a sign that says something really crazy, and the people who sponsored it would be very upset. It's a business. It's not a smart business move, right? So like, you don't want to go. You can't just accept everyone and trust everyone because you have to be smart about these things, and people do try to sabotage things.
Keemstar out here ripping fat clouds. Jared says, I think she wanted an event that celebrated them. Her. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, they wanted all the fun stuff. They wanted it to feel like a summer camp, right? With all these people that are kind of forced into being their friends in order to compete in boxing. And yeah, I mean, maybe they would have had an argument of, we can kick out controversial creators because it's not good for business. But that motive kind of goes out the window when you then drop a content cop on the person that is bringing in most of your audience and who has a staff member in the actual event. Like, just to me, it just all feels really short-sighted and very egotistical.
But at the same time, I don't think some of the stuff they have done has been the smartest either. Like putting out that video, I did say in a text to Nisa, I was like, couldn't have waited a couple months, like, and then she said it had to come out then because, but I understand that too because it's like, all right, you're passionate. The time is now. I'm in.
Wait. So Dad talked to Anissa, and so he did end up speaking up, and he said to Anissa, "Can't this wait a couple months?" And Anissa said, "No, it has to come out now." Why? Why did it need to come out before Creator Clash? This is what I'm talking about. To me, that was, unless they were trying to tank the event, I don't understand the motive of needing it to come out right now. I mean, is it because it was a response to Ethan? Maybe. But if that's the case, they really lost the forest for the trees, you know? No, it needs to come out now. It needs to come out before our event that's already circling the drain. We really just need to give it a final flush. My God.
Inspired. I'm going to make this. I want to respond to what has been said topically. If that's what you do and you do things that are topical, I get it. That's why you want to put it out. But you also have a conflict here because you have an event.
Yeah.
And all these boxers like me, I would say,
What
in
she
a
said
way,
to
I'm
you-
an innocent bystander, and so are all these other boxers who are like,
I
I'm
would
kind of
agree.
involved in the
What
conversation.
she
Like
said
Carly
to
and I
you-
get in here and we talk,
What
but
she
these other people don't, and
what-
they're like now suffering,
exactly.
and they haven't said anything, and
Exactly.
I feel bad
'Cause
for
it's
them.
only-
I will kind of go out and try to politely defend myself and defend the event because I love Creator Clash. I think it's amazing.
Poor Dad. He's so sweet. Like, there were such sweet people involved in this event, like Dad and Harley and Lena. And it sounded like Lena's opponent was also very sweet and cool. Like, Freddie Wong. Like, all these people just... They were in it for the reasons that Ian and Anissa seemed to espouse, right? Like, I remember Anissa specifically on the H3 show talking, like, so passionately about the way boxing changes you and how it really, bonds you to the other fighters. And like, it was just all like this wonderful idea of like camaraderie and hard work and all of that coming together, right? And it's like they were able to create that illusion for the boxers to believe in, but there was nothing behind it, right? Kind of like a scam, kind of like, pardon my musical theater reference, like The Music Man, coming into town and making all these promises. It's fucking crazy, man. Fucking crazy. Hang on. Jared, I think the reason it had to come out right now was because they hated Ethan for a while and it was perfect timing with him talking trash. Okay, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. But still, it's not like you're not going to hate him in a couple months, right? Like, this is a huge event. This isn't just like something that you and your husband are doing. You have all of these people counting on you. Not just the boxers, but all the people that worked the event. All the people who buy tickets and flights and hotels. How do you just ignore that? That feels like sociopath shit to me. With peace and love. As much peace and love as they deserve in this moment. Okay. Oh shit.
The new people who are involved, they're all my friends. I love them. They're very successful people and they know what they're doing. I think Creator Clash 3 is going to be great now that it has this new
Because
fresh
it's
start.
only about them. And here's the thing: when she
Well,
told
they're
you,
not involved anymore. Is the thing. They're not even a part
let
of
me
it.
let me finish what I'm saying. When she told you, oh, it had to come out at this time, she was dead wrong. It didn't have to come out at this time, Because did she know by uploading that video that she was going to step away from Creator Clash?
Yeah, I know.
So she was
I
dead
don't
wrong.
think it needed to come out.
Dead
I think
wrong.
it was a dumb idea. My opinion, personally, I have no problem with Ian or Anissa. Like, they haven't done wrong to me, other than that video, which I think was kind of ignorant to put out at that point. I just wouldn't have done that because the event to me would have been more important personally.
Can we get Dad and Harley running Creator Clash? 4? Like, I mean, he still believes in it. He still thinks it's going to be, the third one is going to be great. And maybe it will be. But legit, like, Harley and Dad talk so passionately about boxing. Like, all I've ever heard from Ethan is that Ian, is that it's traumatized him. He hates it. He hopes he never has to do any of this shit again. You know, things like that. Which again, like, why did you do any of this? I hate the idea that, you know, I hate the conspiracy theory that people put out that Anissa has, like, you know, sucked his blood and changed his brain and he just does what she wants. But, like, when I think back to the interviews that they did on H3, it was Anissa was the one talking, like, the whole time. And she really made it sound like she came from, like, this boxing life and this boxing family, and she was just really passionate about it, and not the fighting, but, like, the community, right? So it's like, did he do it all for her? Not that she made him, but did he want to, like, make her dream come true? But unfortunately, that dream involved him getting his shit rocked. Like, I don't know if he needed to even box for this event to be a success. And sadly, Anissa couldn't because she'd had like a zillion concussions. Isn't that interesting? That only one of them had to put their body on the line for this event. I just don't understand why he did it. But yeah, I think Dad and Harley would be a fantastic team to run this event, or at least be the face of it. Because I haven't heard anybody talk about it as passionately as they have.
But I'm never going to tell them what to do. Like, you know, you just got to do what you're going to do and hope it doesn't ruin too many lives in the way. Like, I'm disappointed personally because I'm like, crap, dude, I only have so much time to do this. And now it's getting pushed. I'm going to be 45 probably, or close to it, when this thing actually happens.
Wow.
If it doesn't happen soon. And I don't want to.
And also, you're injured. Like, he talked about, like, a pinched nerve in his neck. Like, he probably shouldn't be boxing. And I hope he's going to be okay. And the fact that they could have, if this injury gets worse, they could have cost Dad one of, or maybe the last fights of his boxing entertainment career trajectory. And he clearly loves it so much. Like, that's not something to take lightly. Again, it feels like sociopathic, narcissistic shit to not think about the lives that you're impacting with your rash decisions.
I be doing this that long. I really want to retire from this. So I was bummed and upset about that video for that reason. And I agree with like what most people are saying in regards to that content cop. It was just a shame, I feel.
Yeah. Well, are you
So-
still
I would
getting the
agree.
same amount of money and everything? Or has that all changed with them?
Oh God. Oh God. The money stuff is so messy and embarrassing and horrible. Please say Dad is getting paid.
I think they mentioned everything. I think Aaron and Ethan, everyone mentioned in the video. I don't know. Maybe they didn't mention it in the video. Yeah, they're gonna give us a bonus. Everyone's getting the same bonus amount of money since it's extending to. Because I'm still training and I'm still training with my coach. So it's gonna be when the fight happens on October 25th. It'll be. I started in December training last year, and then I'm ending basically November at the end, like Halloween. So it'll be a full year of training, and I have no money, so I need money to keep going. So they will be giving a little extra money for us to keep
Well, I
training.
just think that's wild.
But
I think
really
that's
wanna get on
why I
Misfits
think
in the
that is
meantime
so
or something if
fucking
I
insane.
can.
I think that's so insane that they can ask one of these influencer boxers, right, to be training this long, then blow up the event and be, oopsie, not our fault.
Yeah, and they definitely act like it's not their fault, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, they have all these people's lives, and I mean, that's so much time that he's spending boxing that he's not getting paid for, and he works for himself. Like, he could be creating other things. He could be training or getting into a different like fighting entertainment program that he wanted to. Like, it's so selfish. They were so selfish. And yet they try to act like they have like the moral high ground when they clearly do not give a shit about actual people in their lives. Like, how can you treat people like this? This is so unethical.
It's our haters'
know.
fault, right? You're left here with no money. You've been training for a year straight. What, to go fight a fucking YouTuber? Who are you fighting?
His name's Jago. I think it's Jago or Jago. He used to be a Minecrafter. He was in there with
And so you're
Jack
just gonna
Manifold.
knock this guy
He's like
out.
a British Minecrafter.
You're gonna knock this guy out, clearly,
I
right?
don't know. This guy knows how to box. He's boxed twice. He won one of his fights. He's also like 26 or something, so, and I'm 44. So it will be a challenge, this fight. I didn't even really want to do this fight, honestly. I had Nexpo was at Critical Crash 2, and that was the natural build, and he was on camera, and he and I have a natural history. Dad and Nexpo have a beef that we've been doing for a year. It would have been a great.
iDubbbz, Anissa, you care about your influencer boxers. You care about them so much. Give this guy 10 grand. Give this guy 10 grand.
No.
That's what I got
Give
paid.
him $10,000.
That's what I got
Hell yeah.
paid.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, hell fucking yeah. Like, it is wild to me that Keemstar is more professional than Ian and Anissa in this timeline. We have gotten to the place where Keemstar is like a legit businessman who has run events and seems to like actually give a shit and know what he's talking about and take these people's commitments seriously. And Ian and Anissa are running around pretending like they are the most empathetic people in the world. But they are screwing people they actually know out of tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah, this timeline is crazy. And the thing is, he's right. Keemstar is right. It's not a situation of like, oh, he hates Ian and Anissa, so I'm going to agree with him. He is completely right about the ethics of running a fucking event. Gagged at what 2025 has wrought. Seriously, this is something else.
Serious.
No,
serious.
well, I'm
I
gonna
could
get
help
money
you
for
out.
training. For
I
this
could
next
help you out. Ethan could help you
bit.
out. There's a million people that can help you out, right, Dad? But the person that owes you money for all your time and all your troubles is literally Anissa and iDubbbz. Give him 10 grand. Give him $10,000. He's been training for a year. He's went viral on Creator Clash 1, Creator Clash 2. This guy has taken so much shit just because of your mistakes, because he's the poster boy. He's the guy that goes viral, right? He's the guy that helped build Creator Clash. And now he's over here suffering? Well, this is bullshit. Give him
There's no doubt
$10,000.
you deserve.
Keem, hell fucking yes. Hell fucking yes. And yeah, I mean, no other boxer ended up on Joe Rogan, right? This dad beating up his son. No other boxer. And I love that Keem was like, yeah, Ethan would help you out. I cannot believe this is our timeline. I'm sure there's some anti-sue clause in their original CC3 contract, but I would love to see them do a class action. That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody should be paying people out or reimbursing them. I still don't fully understand the the structure, like the payment structure here. They were all supposed to spend like $10,000+ on training and equipment and like boxing ring rentals, right? They were all supposed to pay all that up front, and then they would get paid back by the ticket price, the ticket sales. Isn't that a Ponzi scheme? Like, we don't have the money, we take the money from here, and then we pay it over here. Like, it just seems very strange to me. Like, we're not going to pay you now, we're going to pay you later once we actually get the tickets. Okay, well, they deserve to be paid whether there are ticket sales or not. It's a weird thing. I mean, it's a weird contract, and I don't know why everybody signed it. Probably because they thought they were doing it for charity, right? That's fraud. I would call that false advertising. Zach is the GOAT. And honestly, like, I will say, starting to do this YouTube stuff, audio is definitely the hardest part. So, I mean, Zach is not only like a soundbite legend, he is so good at doing the audio mixing of the show. Like, shouts out to Zach for that. Why would you do it if you're just being paid back and not actually making anything? Right, unless you think you're doing it for charity. The only boxing event I know of is the Ace Family one. Oh, shit. Okay. Victoria, I feel like you should watch the content court on the Ace Family. You should go look that up after the stream, and it'll suck you in. Because that was some fraud. In reality, you guys got scammed. I missed the show. Okay. Let's redo it here. Okay.
I demand $10,000 for
that.
Nathan Barnett, aka Dadbot. I demand it. Yeah. I absolutely demand it. It's ridiculous.
I don't want money that it's not. I don't want people just to give me money.
It's ridiculous.
Everyone did the same thing. I trained. I fought. I did my fight. I did promotion. I happen to go viral. It's not. I can't control.
Dad, it's not just them giving you money. It is money that you are owed. I am certain that you have not gotten the money that you were owed. And I think everyone should be paid back at least for their training costs. I mean, think of lost wages, right? All this training, you're doing all this training and you're not making other content, right? The Content Court was a great series. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason I know about it, because I definitely didn't watch Ace Fam. Oh, okay, good. Okay, so you know about that. Because I was wondering, didn't you say that you didn't know what? What is Creator Clash? Yeah, that's like a whole other rabbit hole of the H3 show. Visit h3lore.com to find out more. Okay. Let's see. So let's see if there's anything else interesting in here, and then we will wrap up with let me see. Yeah, we'll wrap up with the lawsuit stuff. It's short. Okay.
It's insane. We just need to make this content cop so bad, even though it's going to completely fuck you over. And then they're going to preach that they care so much about these influencers. You know what shit I got when they're telling people I don't care about Wings or Boogie? Motherfucker, I gave them 10 grand.
Donate, great show, but need to.
Fucking Boogie is so stupid. He's just sitting there like, yeah, he did. Yeah. Can't wait to see what's up for LOLCow this summer. And I hope that Hila is enjoying it. I know things are horrible right now for her family and for her because of all the harassment, but I love that she gets so much joy from LOLCow. Her and Love. I feel like she and Love get a lot of joy out of LOLCow. Also, shout out Love going on a health and fitness journey. We love that for him. He's going to be Swedish chefing it up this summer. I gave them 10 grand. Yeah, Zach, we're gonna need you to clip that, buddy. We're gonna need that on deck for sure.
Kick him out.
Dude.
The thing is, they're not a part of Credit Clash. This is something I want to say to the internet. I know the bit
Tell him on
is to
Twitter right
hate
now.
on-
$10,000. I want Dad to get $10,000 from them. Go ahead.
They don't have to give me anything. I did what I was supposed to do. They paid me for what I did. I did the same as everyone else. Just because I go viral, I can't control that. The other fighters can't control it. I shouldn't get extra money because something I did got views more so than someone else. That would be unfair. But
I just agree. YouTube rewards people for going viral. Every other platform.
I mean, okay, I get it. That's not the same. But you got paid, but did you get paid back for your training? Because Lena didn't. And Harley didn't, and they were even saying that, you know, they talked this big game about everyone being paid the same, right? And then that wasn't true. Oy, oy, oy.
like,
Platform does,
why would
why not them?
the boxing organization, it has to be neutral. It has to be equal because otherwise it's unfair, and then people would be like, you know, upset.
Dude, they're just
about
not
it.
loyal. It drives me nuts how unloyal they are, all right? They backstab Ethan, right? They backstab all their fighters. They cause the problem, and then they're like, hey, guys, we're distancing ourselves. Okay, you know what that means? Just so you understand, Dad, that means everybody that actually fucking likes Anissa and actually loves iDubbbz, the people that are still their fans, are not going to support Creator Clash. They have fucked you twice, Dad. Wake up.
Keem with the tough love. Keem coming in with the tough love. And also, like, defending Ethan? What world? What world are we in? Where Keemstar is both making sense and outright defending Ethan's honor. They should kiss. They should absolutely squash the beef. We have not had a beef squashing in a long time. Keemstar and Ethan should squash the beef after the break. Thoughts? They should absolutely kiss. Let's make Hassan jealous. You know he's still jealous that they never kissed. Oh, fucking hell.
But dude, they're not a part of Creator Clash.
Exactly.
Gone.
So their
It's a whole
fans
new
are not
group.
going to support Creator Clash 3. They fucking fucked you so bad by leaving.
No, I think I will say this. Yes, they were controversial. What was happening was bad. I think the smartest, most logical thing to do was separate. They had to. Otherwise, this would just be like a dog pile. And now I feel like as people are trying to keep hating on Creator Clash and they're not really involved, so people are looking, the internet in general loves to, like, you know, beat the dead horse. Creator Clash is a bunch of innocent people at this point. The promoters who are involved and the fighters involved have nothing to do with any controversy. We just want to box.
I understand that. I understand what Dad is saying. And I do think the internet has a short attention span and that maybe there is a fresh audience for this, especially since they're going to be doing it to a smaller crowd. But, I mean, we can't act like the event doesn't have a stink on it now. And it is the stink of Ian's poo-poo breath. That's gonna be hard to get away from. And Keem is right. Like, I'm sure a lot of the seats that were purchased were people that that support Ian and Anissa, and they're not gonna come to the next event. So it's basically starting from scratch, which sucks. Okay, people are having comments about Keem. I still hate Keem. Keem has said and done some bad shit. Totally. You're totally right. You're totally right. I feel like I'm like Ethan, where I can forgive people pretty quickly, you know? I paid to see Creator Clash 2, and I'm still salty it lost money. Yeah, that they didn't raise anything for charity. I watched 1 and 2, and I was so excited about both of them. Like, watching the stream was so fun. I was done with CC3 before the drama. Yeah, I didn't follow enough to know that Creator Clash 2 had, like, ended up losing money. I didn't even know that until now. I kind of lost track of that over the last 2 years. It certainly seems he's turned a new leaf. Yeah, it does to some degree. We don't know what he's like behind closed doors, but he just seems like he's grown up, you know? It seems like Keem has grown up. It doesn't absolve him of things. And I think if the beef was gonna be squashed, there would have to be guidelines, right? There would have to be rules in place, stipulations, things that they would each have to apologize for or whatever. Like, that is squashing the beef. It's getting it all out in public. Like, Ethan and Jeff had a legitimate fight with each other, right? Like, they were not cool at all, and they said some crazy shit about each other. Ethan and Tana, right? Like, it's forgiveness is possible, and I kind of love that they do the squash the beef thing. I think someone whose beef should never be squashed is Logan Paul. You disagree. Tell me more about that. I feel so bad for Dad. I know. So I mean, I have a feeling this is just going to keep going down the same thing of, like, Dad still trying, because he's still in Creator Clash 3, so of course he's not going to badmouth it, and I don't think he wants to, right? He wants the event to be a success, because for him, there's a lot riding on it, right? This could be one of his last boxing matches ever, and that's really sad and hard, and I don't want that for him, but that's aging, right? Like, getting older sadly means some things end and don't come back. I don't think he's apologized or shown any regret for the shit he's done. Keem is okay to observe at a distance, but I don't think there's a bridge to be built there. Okay, I can see why you say that. And I feel like that's been a sentiment in the subreddit, right? Where people are like, we don't need to have Keem on the show. We don't need to have Ethan go to fat camp to, like, help run the programming or whatever. We don't need collabs, right, between Ethan and Keemstar. And I agree. I can see that. I just love the goofs and gaffs, and I feel like that would be, like, a crazy goof and gaff. But again, I think, like, the Keemstar stuff, like the fallout and stuff, happened while I was not watching actively. And it was stuff that I caught up on. So I wasn't there for, like, the really horrible stuff. I know he said horrible shit about Ela, and all that. So yeah, maybe he doesn't deserve full redemption. Maybe he doesn't deserve a seat at the beef squashing table. Maybe you're right. Okay, let's finish up, because I do have to go to bed. I'm already in my jammies. Let's finish up with this last little bit of Runkle of the Baileys video. He is, I believe, an attorney out of Canada, and he broke down the lawsuits against Rogan and Denims and Caseytron. So you can go and watch his full video. I linked it in the description. But I'm just interested in, like, his final thoughts. And this was my first intro to this guy. And his hair is gorgeous. And all I could think was, like, yo, this guy probably fucks at a Ren fair. You know what I mean? I love a Ren fair, personally. Snarkers love that because it makes it easier to draw the through line to Ethan is a right winger now. I don't care if they do. Do you know what I mean? Like, Ethan is never going to be clean to them. Nothing he ever does is going to make them take his actions with any sort of goodwill or benefit of the doubt. So I don't think that he and Ela and the crew should twist themselves into pretzels trying to avoid a reaction from Snark or a misrepresentation from Snark, because it's just not a thing. And I think that's part of the way that they inflict harm and, emotional violence is causing creators to do that. All the flip-flopping and second-guessing themselves and censoring themselves, right? That gives them power. Yes, very Brazzo. Brazzo Esquire. Absolutely. Oh, should we end with a Brazzo moment after this?
But the fourth and most important fair use.
Hang on, Burnsy. I've seen like 5 different attorney breakdowns and it all spells doom for these morons. They're all saying the same thing, which is a bad sign. One of them was a specialist in copyright. Ooh. Okay. Do you want to call them out in the chat so folks can see that?
Factor weighs the most heavily of the nuke. But the fourth and most important fair use factor weighs the most heavily, they say. It is readily apparent that Casey-tron intended and succeeded to provide a market substitute for the nuke. So, again, this is the critical thing, right? You cannot... This is going to weigh hugely against them. And so let's talk about what happens next for these creators, because lawsuits are expensive. And one advantage...
So he's saying that the market substitute piece is a problem. Like, they are going to have a hard time, it seems like, disproving that they were intentionally trying to create a market substitute for the content nuke. Because they said it out loud on stream and in other places multiple times. The thing is, I didn't even know that Casey-tron was doing this, and I think Ethan wouldn't have known if the fucking snark wasn't so arrogant and put her, like, braggingly in their pinned post on the subreddit, right? Because I was surprised. I'm like, why is he suing her? I've never even heard of her. Oh, because they gave him a formula. They gave him the names of streamers who were creating a market substitute, and then he and his lawyers, all they had to do was go through and see who was malicious enough with their intent. And unfortunately, she got caught in the dragnet, man. She got caught. She got. I'm out skating around. Oh, skating. No, you can just drop it in the comments later if you want. I just want to make sure that we shout people out. Please don't sue me. All right, let's keep going.
Because... So let's talk about what happens next for these creators, because lawsuits are expensive. And one advantage that Ethan Klein has is that Ethan Klein has like Scrooge McDuck levels of money.
Does everyone know who Scrooge McDuck is? Do I need to look up Scrooge McDuck so you can see? So you have the visual? Are we all old enough to know Scrooge McDuck diving into a pile of his money? Let me show you. Just in case. This is, when he says Ethan has Scrooge McDuck money, this is who he means. Okay? All right. What the fuck? Oh, there we go. Okay.
I'm pretty sure he could fill himself a swimming pool with cash and have the world's least pleasant swim. So, and I mean, don't do that. Money is gross, but you don't want it on your bits. But, you know, the point is...
I love that he, like, needed to say that. He's like, I am not endorsing that you fill up a pool with money and dive in it. You will get a penis infection. I love that he, like, had to say that.
He's got a ton of money. He can afford this lawsuit. I don't know if these creators can afford this lawsuit, and we'll have to see if their fans rally around to, you know, support their legal bills. Because their legal bills are going to get to be huge. And if Klein wins, and if it's all found to be willful, he's likely to get his attorney's fees and costs back.
And they come back from the defendants, right? Like, he will be, if he can prove the willfulness of the copyright infringement, then the gals need to pay his legal fees. And I am certain his lawyers are expensive, and they have been working on this shit for months and months and months, right? So, I understand why Casey was crying today. This is a lot. I hope she settles. And again, like I said last night, Ethan has talked about other alternatives to cash settlements, right? Where they have to put a sign up behind them that says Ethan was right, or, you know, he can take Frogan's Rising Star Award, whatever it is. You know, like pettier things that are more akin to like a YouTube beef that won't completely crater these women's livelihoods and, you know, ability to make ends meet. Because despite what they say about Ethan, I don't think he wants anyone to be in the poorhouse over this. You know, even though they were horrible and mean-spirited and dangerous to some degree, I still can't see him truly relishing making them scared to be able to afford their bills. I think on the show, he does a lot of the blustery stuff. It was like when he was up against that entertainment group that stole like crazy amount of money. Wasn't it like $250K? BBTV. I mean, he was like, I'll do this all day. I'm crazier than you are. Like, we'll be in court for the next decade if you want to do it, right? Like, he did it with Ryan Kavanaugh. It's a bluster that, in my opinion, it's not a bluff, but he lets you know up front. Like, he shows his hand. He's like, I'm gonna win. It's gonna be really bad for you. So why don't we just settle and end this? You know? The copyright lawyer was Lus, L-U-S. Oh yeah, I've seen them. For sure. Yeah, if you're interested in watching like the full breakdown, please do. That stuff is like so in the weeds for me. It just makes me tired. It's the kind of thing my wife really likes. She loves like detail-oriented shit. I like getting a little skim of stuff. Unless it's like super gossipy, and then I want to know everything about it. Okay.
Which ends up just adding to the damage. Now, the other thing to consider is the impact of discovery. So the first thing that's going to happen in this lawsuit, it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to, is that there's going to be motions to dismiss on the basis of basically saying this is fair use, throw the case out. And I think under the circumstances that that those motions to dismiss are likely to fail.
So in layman's terms, the gals are going to bring forth, their lawyers are going to say this should be thrown out because of fair use. And he is saying that that's probably not going to go well for them. That it's not going to get thrown out based on fair use. Because, I mean, to me, that makes it sound like this shit is airtight. Despite Cat 10 Barge saying it's riddled with typos. So, yikes. Yikes. And I'm guessing discovery happens after the motions are thrown out. But let's see.
I think I give Klein, notwithstanding the fact that he's got a decision that sort of runs against him to a certain extent, I give him like 80-90% odds of prevailing at the motion to dismiss.
Okay, so that's not the whole case, but I don't know what the decision is that's working against him. Is that like his case, the fair use case that he helped pioneer? These are things I would know if I'd watched the whole video, right? Okay, so he thinks 80 to 90% Ethan is going to win the motions to dismiss, or he's going to be able to get those thrown out. That is, to me, that's a high probability. That is a high probability that I don't feel like a lawyer would say unless they were sure.
And assuming that he overcomes the motion to dismiss, the next step is discovery. And discovery can go into all sorts of things. Anything that's not privileged and is relevant. So they can start mining all of these communications. And so these Reddit moderators will probably have issues with all of their communications between each other being potentially relevant.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, sounds like the conspiracy theory from the subreddit might be right. Because this lawsuit doesn't just implicate Denims and Frogan and Caseytron, right? Like the reason Ethan knew that these market substitutes were happening is because they were shared on the subreddit very publicly with text that specifically says this is a way to watch so you don't give him views. So those subreddit moderators are kind of like, it's not a crime, right? This is like a civil thing, but they're kind of like an accessory for lack of a better word. Right? They have like aided in this. And because of that, because that is clearly relevant, it's going to open the door potentially to a lot of shit. So I personally hope that the motions for dismissal get thrown out. It sounds like Runkle thinks that that's probably going to happen. And then Discovery is going to be crazy. The thing I'm wondering about is, like, how much are we going to be able to know about it? Like, how much is Ethan going to be able to share? Things move so slowly, it might be years, right, before we find out what came up in Discovery. But maybe it'll happen faster. I don't know. But I hope we get to know. I hope we get to know sooner than later, because I am very, very interested and very, very nosy.
And things that they have to disclose. And they may have to be deposed under oath. Which, you know, scary times. So, all of this is not going to be fun for them. It's going to be very expensive. And I suspect that there may be things unearthed in Discovery. Again, I don't know. This is just a guess. That will further hurt the case of the people involved.
Imagine the H3 Snark moderators being deposed under oath. Having their own daily lives and schedules turned upside down by the dumb, hateful shit they have been putting on the internet for the last few years. Imagine that! Who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody and they were like, maybe they talked to a lawyer, or was I talking to a lawyer? I don't remember, but they were like, don't ever say anything in writing or in a voicemail that you don't want to be read as part of Discovery, because it will be. It will be. Like, I guess at some point Discovery touches everyone's stuff to some degree. So, yeah, wow. I think Discovery could be really, really bad for the three people, right? For Denims, Frogan, and Caseytron. It could also implicate the Snark mods, who said in that post, that pinned post, that these people have been working directly with us or have shared our content. I mean, if we're looking at text messages and stuff, we know Anissa and Denims are great, fast friends. So are we going to see stuff from them? Are we going to see evidence of Hassan pulling strings? Helping do any sort of like maneuvering behind the scenes? I don't know. I have no idea. But I think the Redditor was right about the fact that this is just the beginning. And I think that if you're a fan of Ethan and H3, it's not hard to believe that. It's not hard to believe that this has all been, this is just one piece of the puzzle, and that Ethan is counting on Discovery to really change some stuff on the internet, specifically on Reddit. because I think he's thinking about this, of course, because it impacts himself and his family and his crew, but I think he thinks about it more broadly. And I think Reddit might be in some deep fucking shit, and Twitch too, honestly, because who knows what we're gonna find. It'll definitely cause an avalanche, and it all started because Frogan was upset. Ethan silently unfollowed her. Wait. It goes back further than that. It all started when Ethan made fun of Trisha. When Ethan made fun of Trisha's Instagram pictures. Somehow this goes all the... Imagine if Discovery pulls up somehow that Trisha is like the puppet master. Fucking imagine. Can I selfishly say that I wouldn't be mad if Adam McIntyre was deposed under oath? Everything leads back to Trisha. It is crazy. People I would like to see in Discovery. Adam McIntyre, Taylor Lorenz, obviously Hassan, Anissa and Ian, Jake Chinatown, because he has retweeted just some horrific stuff. Who knows what we're going to find? Like, because the Discovery can do Discord. It can do Twitter DMs. And those hoes love Twitter. And by hoes, I mean all of them, not just the women. Him having to talk about calling Hila Hitler at his live show. Yes! Just imagine them being like, can you explain this? Under oath? Bitch. I love Ethan's patience about it. He's like, it's all going to come out. And we're going to win. And everyone is finally going to see that we were on the right side of this. That really fucked up shit was happening to us. And other people, right? Across the internet. Just got to be patient, y'all. We just got to be patient. Ride the waves, ride the goofs and gaffs, the ups and downs, and be confident knowing that this is 80 to 90%, we're going to get to see Ethan Klein go into Discovery on that ass. And we love that for him.
Now, I've seen people saying, but Ethan made his stuff available. Well, my understanding is that he made his stuff available for clips, but not for taking the entire content, and that he later sort of rescinded that. So that's not helpful. Some people have said, but he's going after these people, but not his friends. He's entirely allowed to do that. That's not actually a defense.
And this is what Ethan is saying. It doesn't matter what you say on Twitter. It doesn't matter what you think of the optics, that I'm only suing certain people and not others. That doesn't fucking matter. Whataboutism is not a legal defense. He's allowed to sue whoever the fuck he wants.
You know, if 10 people punch me in a day, I can sue any, all, or none of them at my discretion. You know, I can sue Bob and not Frank, or vice versa. That's my call. And neither of them can use as a defense, well, that other person punched you too and you didn't sue them, so you're okay with being punched. No, that's not how it works. I mean, they might be able to say, that bruise that you got isn't from me punching you because it was that earlier guy in the day. You've been getting punched a lot, man. Somebody else's fault. They could do that, but that's not going to help them here on the statutory damages.
I love that analogy. Like, you don't have to sue everyone that punches you. You can decide who you want to sue and who not to sue. And also, the people who need to hear this aren't going to ever hear it, right? But, like, he was very clear about why he sued these people. First of all, why they were on his radar is Snark. So shout out to Snark. And it's because they were all very willful in their intention to create a market substitute to financially damage Ethan and his company. You can't do that. You can't do that, girls.
And also, a lot of the damage will be able to be proven by, metrics, by donation numbers. All of these platforms keep stats on all of that, which, of course, during discovery, they'd have to turn over.
All those Twitch primes. Throw a prime if you liked watching it here instead of with Ethan. All of Frogan's, did Frogan do any rent fundraising during her stream? We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. We all grew up with the same FBI policy ads before movies. Ethan took it seriously to protect his stuff. Absolutely. And yes, he's doing this to make a point, right? But that doesn't make what he's doing illegal. And it doesn't, and that's not a defense. That can't be a defense. That they don't like the reasons why he's suing them and the reasons why he's doing this. But I think we all know that it's so much bigger than the three of them. They just happen to be the people who are being made an example of because they were stupid enough to be very, very arrogant and explicit about what they were doing and why. Because they were way too comfortable thinking that they were untouchable just because things didn't happen to them immediately and because they feel like they're protected under like the Hassan umbrella. Well, you're not. You're not. You're a bunch of mean people, and I can't wait to hear how your depositions go.
Yeah, it's a bad day to be any of these people. Certainly, you might say, well, they have a fair use argument. Sure, there's going to be an argument. I don't think it's a great fair use argument. I think Mr. Klein picked three sort of most unsympathetic people and sort of best case, things. So let's...
Unsympathetic is an understatement, right? We know that. But like these people, they just really underestimated him. Of course, he and his lawyers picked the best defendants for this. The most unsympathetic, the most explicit, the most obvious, right? Like, these people, it's like they're all stunted. It's like they're all emotionally and developmentally stunted where they don't understand how the world works off the internet. Like the fact that they like think that things that happen online don't matter and don't count in the real world. And if your entire job is creating content, you should know how it works, what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. People can love or hate him, but his legal team is honestly very smart. And let's not forget, it's his legal team that provided the path for that fair use doctrine. Exactly. Someone in the subreddit said that Ethan is fighting for both the floor and the ceiling of fair use now. Like, he fought for the floor in the Matt Haas argument, right? Like, we're allowed to do this. This is fair use. We are allowed to transform someone else's content. And now he's fighting for the ceiling, right? You can do fair use up to here. After that, you're just stealing. And if you do it with malicious intent, then you're fucked. So here we go. Sorry that y'all are the three that are about to be in a probably a precedent-setting case. You gotta break a few eggs and the eggshells or whatever the fuck Albert and Preach say.
Talk a little bit about what this means for reaction streamers. Well, it'll probably mean if these cases prevail that people have to put a little more work into it and make sure that their commentary isn't just little snippets and so forth, but that their commentary is actually something meaningful and something that matters, and that they actually, have more commentary than the original video that they took.
Which, mind you, is exactly what Ethan and Hila argued in their Matt Haas case, right? That this is the length of the video and this was how much commentary we did. So nobody should be surprised. Nobody should be surprised that this is their stance. This has been their stance. They weren't saying, yeah, it should be free use. You should be able to do whatever you want with people's content. That was never what they wanted. But it is interesting to see how some of the reaction streamers are reacting to this. Like I've watched a little bit of Nicholas Diorio and Lonerbox talking about it, and they're both like, yeah, what we're doing is not totally above board, and if this goes through, we'll have to change what we do. Even Papa Gut was like, I'll probably have to do a podcast. Like, they all understand that this might be the end of something in like the wild west of the internet. Like, it might be over. And that maybe what they're doing right now is not 100% ethical. Maybe they could be trying harder, right? Because they haven't had to. So I've liked the honesty of that. Where they're not just like, Ethan's a greedy Jew that just wants to bankrupt people. It's like, no. I think if you actually take your work seriously, you can understand what this is, and you're already thinking ahead to what you might have to do to compensate. Like Papa Gut talking about doing a podcast. And I think Diorio and Lonerbox were both saying like, oh, well, then I would do this. This is how I would shift. They're not shitting and pissing their pants, crying victim, right? They're like, oh, you know, the internet is this like living and breathing thing that the law is still catching up with and will probably always be behind on, right? And they understand that because they understand their platform. They understand their world. These women just are acting like everything is happening to them. And they have no accountability, and they are not making any plans for how to be better in the future. When you make hating someone your hobby or your pleasure, you are really poisoning your own heart. It's twisted like a backwards self-harm. Totally true. That's what they say. Like, hating somebody else or holding a grudge is like drinking poison. Like, you're not feeding them the poison, you're drinking the poison. Between this and Disney suing over AI, the internet is about to change. 1,000%. And I mean, Ethan talked about it in the lawsuit video. This is going to set a precedent that bigger companies might be able to leverage. Because a lot of people, specifically on Twitch, are probably already breaking copyright infringement laws, right? And this is going to set the ceiling for fair use. So they could be, that's what I was saying in one of my other streams, like, Twitch is going to change. Twitch has a lot to, they might have a lot to update. And I think that all of these reaction streamers who just watch other people's shit all the time and don't add anything to it, they're going to have to find something else to do. They're going to have to find something else to do. I wonder if they'll eventually come for gamers too. Like, I wonder how much watching people play video games decreases the amount of time and money people actually spend playing the games on their own. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe people are just huge fans. But that's copyrighted stuff, right? But maybe the gaming world's like, no, this is good for us. We should keep doing it. I don't know. And like Runkle said, they can choose to sue or not. But you better believe that fucking Disney and Sony are probably gonna be happy to sue. All right, let's finish this out.
Because, yeah, I think a lot of people have looked at Hosinzada versus Klein and interpreted it as basically saying, well, any reaction video is fine so long as you just interject occasionally. And that's not how it works. That's not how that case reads. And I think think some people have been effing around and are about to hit the find out.
Yeah, like literally the entire platform of Twitch, it seems like. Because YouTube, it's like you play anything in it, you'll get a copyright strike immediately. It's like the AI knows and can like and listens and sees and knows when you're fucking stuff up. Does that not happen on Twitch? It seems like it's like a waste, like a lawless wasteland over there. Where up until pretty recently, Hassan was able to watch full TV shows with like no commentary. And just be like, wow, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, this is all his fault. And Trisha's. Oh, hang on, someone texted. Transformative is the key, though. So I think gamers could argue that there's many ways to play a game because gameplay is dependent on the person playing. Victoria, that is so smart. That is a great argument. Yeah, it's not like they're just watching the demo that the company put out, right? They're actually playing and changing things. That's a good point. That is I imagine that would be a defense that they could use, right? And like I said, maybe gaming companies like the promo. Maybe it doesn't cut into their profits. Maybe it helps promote the games. Unlike watching Master Chef with Hassan instead of on whatever network, whatever cable channel that is, right? That like actively just takes away from watching it on a streaming service or whatever else. All of us would like to do that. I would love to watch TV shows with you guys. I would love to do like a full watch through of Golden Girls or something else cool like that. Something classic. It would be fun. But you can't fucking monetize that. Not with all those Zionist Jews in West Hollywood, am I right? Throwback to the, callback to the beginning of the episode. Okay.
So, anyway, that's my thoughts. We're clocking in at just a little over an hour. And I'm sort of minding the clock here. I think this is the best I've done for getting 3 cases covered.
I feel like he's gonna bill us. He's like, we're just about at an hour. It's like that Parks and Rec scene where she's like, if you say one more word, I literally will have to charge you $1,200.
If you have questions, drop them in the chat below because I'm going to be continuing to cover this case. We're going to get motions to dismiss, and I'm going to find those to be real interesting, and we're going to cover those. At least I'm probably going to find them to be real interesting. I know that Klein has made apparently some public statements saying that he's willing to settle and willing to negotiate. So we might see that too, because I think some people might have some reason to talk to him. Anyway.
Well, and that's the other thing I'm wondering, like, will the settlements happen before or after discovery? If I were him, I would hold out until after discovery so you get all those other juicy little gems that you can use, right? I am also, it is clocking to me that he is standing on business. Clock that T. Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know. Shout out to Runkle, by the way. That was like exactly what I wanted. I just wanted like the little, the outcome, like the potential outcome, the odds and all that. So that was great. Go watch his whole video. He breaks down the whole thing. We've got time before H3 comes back, so you might as well do some deep digging in addition to, you know, rewatching episodes, you know? So I don't know how long. First of all, look at my nails. They look so good. Yes, I took the pink off. I want to do pink and yellow. I have a problem. I do my nails too much. Anyway, I don't know how long it's going to take for these motions to dismiss to appear. I don't know if these defendants, if these defendants have procured legal representation yet. I have no idea. So I guess we'll see. It'll be all over the internet as soon as it happens. Happy birthday to Ethan Klein. I saw that at least one of the 3 got served on his birthday. So that's, I'm sure that he enjoyed that. But thanks y'all for being here. I think that was everything, and it's almost midnight again. So this was really fun. If you're still here, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I have no idea when my next stream will be. Probably this weekend, if anything exciting happens or if I'm bored and I want to do some origami or something else. So just keep an eye on YouTube, and I will see you later. Bye.